Hey guys, welcome back to Maytech Create. Today we were interviewing Dev Lemons, who is a musician and one of Pace's favorite content creators.
Yeah, so Dev is also a comedian. She's done a lot of work podcasting, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. She's one of my favorites. So this conversation was super interesting to get a perspective on someone who's basically built a whole personal brand around comedy and now is leaning towards music and how she's navigating that. So,
and not just that, but she's got 300,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. So she successfully transferred her audience from online to the main goal of a musician, which is, people listening to their music. And we know a lot of people who have millions of followers who can't do that. So it's a super interesting conversation. I had a lot of fun. She's also a really great personality.
Yeah, exactly. And she's just moved to LA 2 months ago, so we're all new here. And she was great to hang out with. So enjoy.
Enjoy.
Is this All right. So I would like to welcome our guest on today's Mates to Create show, Dev Lemons.
Woo!
Is that how you would like to be referred? Dev Lions?
Sure. Why not? Dev Lemons, Dev Limes, Devin. Who cares?
Is that a stage name or is that your real name?
That is a stage name. My real name is actually...
Secret?
Well, nah, who cares? Devin Vonderschmaltz is my legal name.
Vonderschmaltz.
Wow. That's my last name.
That's a monster of a last name.
It is a
name.
monster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, his name isn't actually Pace. Fun fact.
That is a lie as well.
Yep. So we've got two lies. I'm the only honest one here.
Is your real name a secret?
No, it's Dale.
Oh.
Whoa.
Pace
What made
is-
you pick Pace?
It's a high school nickname.
Aw.
I've told the story before.
If I had $1 for every time I've heard him tell a story, I'd have like $20.
Year 9 camp, one of the teachers read the name and it was written out wrong, so they thought it was Pace. And they were like, Pace Randolph here. And I was like, I think that's me. And then it just became a thing. And yeah.
Wow.
But it's way cooler than my actual name, so it became my artist name.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the stuff.
listen, we're very excited to have you on. Thanks for coming out. You're our first LA guest.
Yeah.
So we're live from LA, downtown. We were just chatting about our experience in LA so far. You're also new to LA, aren't you?
I am new to LA. I've only lived here for a couple months. Well, yeah, like I'm almost 2 months.
How are you finding it so far?
I love it. I mean, I'd been visiting on and off for like about a year before I moved here, and I'm really grateful that I waited until I did to move because, I don't know, LA is a really interesting place, and I feel like a lot of hurdles can be thrown at you, and it could be really hard to live here unless you absolutely like want to live here so badly. And I do like despite everything, like I love it here. Like I'm just so happy to be here. It's just there's so much creativity and like just it's all very inspiring.
Kind of off that point, do you think it's a place where you go once you've kind of already figured out who you are and what you want to do and then to take it to the next level? I feel like you could get lost here if you were just starting out and just too many influences, too many different directions. Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, it's possible. I think a lot of people have made it work, like coming here, starting with like nothing and not knowing anyone and then moving here. But I honestly am, I don't know. For me, at least, I am so grateful that like I already had friends I knew, like good friends that lived here or were moving here around the same time that I was. And already sort of like had a hold on like what I want to do and like a little bit of a jump start on my career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so expensive here as well. So it's just like, whew.
Yeah.
Like coming here already like a struggling artist and then you're paying all these like prices. It's just wild.
well, so these friends that you made in LA, were these friends that you made online and then met up with?
Most of them. Some
Yeah.
of them are like, I have like a couple from college. That's, yeah.
But it's like, is it from, like, you're a musician first, right? Was that your first passion? Because a lot of your content is around music, and we can get into this, but like a lot of it's also comedy, and then there's education side of things. But like for you, like what's the main driver behind like moving to LA and wanting to pursue that?
Yeah, so music is like my main thing. I like never thought I would be in this position, honestly. Like I never thought I was going to be a musician, if I'm being like completely honest. I always thought I was going to be an actress. I like, because I don't really have like a background in like, I wasn't trained as a musician. Like I never really grew up learning about it. I just loved listening to it. But I mean, I like dabbled in a couple instruments, but I just never thought that I was like good enough to be a musician. But I was always confident in my abilities to like do theater and like make people laugh. So I thought I was going to be an actress. But life happens, and I've just been kind of riding this wave, and now I'm, like music's working, and I really have grown to love doing it, and now I'm here.
So you speak about wanting to be an actress when you were younger. I as well as many other people, have seen a recent TikTok video of, was it your first TV appearance?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Do you want to talk us through this?
Yeah. So when I was little, I forget if it was my mom who got me this gift or like a family friend, but they got me this board of presidents that you press the face and it like says the name.
That's so American. You would never see that in Australia.
Right? It's just like so ridiculous thinking about it now. I'm just like, oh, of course. It's a baby game.
Indoctrinating you into learning your presidential history.
Yeah. Oh my, it's ridiculous. So I was like, I loved this game. Like I just would like sit there and just like press the faces and hear the names. And then my mom like one day was just like, let me like see if she remembers them. And she would just point to the people and I like knew all the presidents. And so like, and then she would like tell me facts about them. And then I'd be able to be like, oh, like this is this president. And like, this is something about him. Like this is like William Howard Taft or whatever. He got stuck in a bathtub. And
Do you
like,
still know the names?
hell no.
I've never heard of William.
No, yeah. But honestly, like I could have made him up for all I know. But yeah, so then my mom was like telling a family friend at one point, like someone brought it, like she brought it up to someone, and that someone told Diane Sawyer somehow, or someone who worked on Good Morning America, like this talk show that I think it's still going. And then Diane Sawyer like called my dad and was like, hey, like it's Diane Sawyer. We want your child to come on TV for President's Day today. Like 21 years ago. Today to be like to say all the presidents, and my dad thought it was a prank call, so he like hung up on her. And they called back. Yeah, right. And then they called back and were like, no, like we'll please, like can she come to New York? So my parents just like brought me over. I was on live television.
They flew to New York that day to be on live television.
I think it was at least like a couple days in advance. I think it was probably like at least a couple weeks in advance. I lived in Pennsylvania. New York is like a couple hour drive. So they like drove me up in a limo and like put us in a hotel or something.
Damn.
It was crazy. I mean, I was like 2 years old and I couldn't even like, I don't really remember that much about it. I do remember like I fell back like in the backstage room and I totally like ate shit. Like I do remember that, but I don't remember being on TV like at all. But yeah, they just brought me on and I like named all the presidents and I sang like the national anthem and they were
my God.
like
Perfect American
This
child.
this is horrifying.
Model American child right here.
I have that section of the videos.
Well, I haven't seen this.
Let me see if it plays.
It's ridiculous.
James Madison, who was that big? Can you tell me who that is?
You're not interested at all.
Oh, no, well, do you know who that picture is in the middle?
Wow, you're blonde.
Can you tell me who those
I
people
know.
up
Wow.
there? Do you know which presidents they are? Thomas Diane. Yes.
You're just like, get me out of here.
God, I cannot imagine being the woman who's trying to like orchestrate it. She's like, come on, say it. Say it, please, just
Oh
say
my
it.
God. No, after like eventually I just picked like the most ridiculous parts, but like I did like at some point I did actually go through and was like, yeah, that's, Abraham Lincoln, that's James Monroe, that's fucking, I don't know, the other, whatever other ones there are.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell me, I couldn't name like 5.
Sure, you couldn't. Sure.
No, literally. Oh my
Well,
God.
that's the video you just posted on YouTube. It's like you don't actually know who they are now. Yeah.
Was that her first TikTok?
No.
It's a recent one.
So,
Yeah, that one's pretty recent.
I don't know if this is the first TikTok you ever posted, but it's the first TikTok on your account. So you can tell us whether that's true or not. But it has 860,000 views, which is
What the
nuts
hell?
for a first video.
Oh my God, my old Tinder content.
Let's see how this goes.
I need your help. How do I start a conversation with a pretty girl and eventually ask her out on a date? You could ask her if she lactates. I hope it works because that girl is really cute. Do you lactate?
Oh no.
Why the fuck would I lactate?
So, had nothing to do with music, but it's fucking funny.
Thank you.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Was that the first TikTok you ever posted?
It actually wasn't. I will
Okay.
never forget the first TikTok I ever posted. It was a photo of like Forky or whatever from one of the Toy Story movies. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
the fork.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, he's so sexy. It was literally just like a photo of Forky. And it got like a couple thousand views, and I was really riding that high for like a couple days. I was like, wow, like I could really be something on here. But then I took it down eventually, and then I started posting Tinder content because that's, ever since high school, Tinder, like going on with my friends and just having some funny conversations with people was always like something I did until I got banned. And
Tinder here sucks.
How do you get banned from Tinder?
I'm so glad you asked, because it's ridiculous. Like for the longest time, years, I was asking like, what's the last 4 digits of your social? Like, what's the name of your first pet? Like stuff like the lactate stuff. Totally fine. No one cared. As soon as I started sending people links to my music videos, I got banned for spam.
No self-promotion.
Yeah, no self-promotion. They hate women in business.
God.
They want us to fail. Yeah.
And to this day, you're banned?
Insta ban. Total ban. Forever.
Yeah.
Perma ban.
Serves you right as well.
I mean,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
you're not missing out on that much, to be fair.
I do still have Bumble. That's the only one I'm not banned from, actually.
The last refuge of
Yeah.
Dev.
So
All right.
please don't ban me, Bumble, please.
So why did you start posting on TikTok?
Honestly, I started posting, it was like before COVID. It was honestly like late 2019. And it just seemed like it would be fun. Like it was honestly like, I was just shit posting for fun. But even like growing up like in high school and stuff, I was always fascinated by the concept of like social media fame, because it's so accessible, like anyone can attain it. And I'd always enjoyed making people laugh. And like ever since Vine, I remember just like wanting so badly to be social media famous and just to like make a bunch of people laugh. So I guess it was probably a bit of that too. Like it'd be like, oh, what if it would be so cool if I could like make a lot of people smile, I guess.
It was for the joy of entertaining rather than like being like, oh, I want to be a musician, so I'm going to be like, this is how I'm going to get famous or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, like my approach to social media in general has always been that. Like I've never really, I think it comes from just not being, like especially in the early days, just not being confident in my ability to make music. I always just thought like, oh, I need to make people like me, because if they like me, then they'll be more inclined to like my music. Like I just wasn't as confident that my music could stand on its own.
So you like used what you knew you were good at, which was like acting and comedy and stuff.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, if I can get people to like my personality, then maybe they'll be more inclined to check out my music, and if they like it, But, and that's just what I've still, like,
That
I'm
makes
just,
sense.
it's like what I'm most comfortable doing, and I feel like it's just, yeah, I feel like it makes sense for me. But now as I'm like, holy shit, like this is like a career for me. I'm just like, maybe I should showcase the music a little bit more and try to like perform and stuff online. But because I am becoming more confident in my abilities, so it's pretty cool. But
It's also like once you get enough listeners and people saying your music's really good, then your confidence grows, because you go, oh, well, I've got so many people saying it's good, it must actually be good. And it's not just like me trying to convince myself it's good, and then you can start posting more. But I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like if people do like you, they're more inclined to like your music or listen to your music.
yeah,
Or
Which
anything
is
you do.
Yeah, anything. Which is like, there's some creators out there that can just kind of do anything. It's very rare, but I mean,
Yeah.
look at like the biggest creators are just like doing whatever they want, starting brands and anything just because they've got fame.
Yeah, you could start a tequila brand like The Rock.
Yeah, or a pizza chain.
yeah. Or I could be Dan Aykroyd and invent Patron.
Yeah.
Did you see that Drake interview?
No.
It's so you should watch it. It's like oh my god, Barstool Sports did like this interview with Drake. It's like ridiculous.
Barstool Sports is kind of ridiculous.
They are ridiculous.
So that doesn't surprise me.
I had never had the drive to check out a single Barstool Sports piece of content until this interview came out, and like everyone was talking about it, and it's so funny. Like it is so ridiculous.
Well, Barstool Sports is probably like the most American thing ever.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like getting it, if you had anyone outside America to get a glimpse of what American culture is like, just go watch Barstool Sports.
Yeah.
Well, so the second video that you posted, or the second video that's on your account, and I'm talking about TikTok because I guess that's our locus of like operation, and I'm guessing it's where you had the most like exponential growth initially when you were posting. Your second video has 2.8 million views, which is
You know what? Fuck you. Because this sucks. Every other creator we get, including ourselves, had to grind out for like 6 months with no views. Like our self-confidence, it's cringy, it's embarrassing. Whereas here you are, friggin' second video,
So I guess
2.8 million views.
it may not be the second video ever posted, but it's pretty early on in the journey. This
Yeah.
is still like 2019. Yeah, late 2019.
She's found a niche.
What are the last 4 digits of your social? 2381. Why would you give me the last 4 digits of your social? Why would you think I actually gave you the last 4 digits of my social?
So simple.
That's
but
it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's not even that good, no offense. The first one was funnier.
Yeah, you know, looking back, I'm like, because I used to make these and think they were really funny, but like now I'm just like, I mean, I still think they're kind of silly, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, why did it get that many views?
Well,
Like,
TikTok in 2019 was
Yeah,
an easy
man, you
place
could
to-
fucking
it was an easy
fart
place to
and you
find
get views.
but still, like, that's an unbelievable start to like content creation.
Thank you.
And then, however, there's about a year between that and your next
Oh my
wave
God.
of virality, which is, and it's not to say you weren't doing well. Like you had consistent views, which, and it's not all about views, obviously, but like I
Yeah.
guess it's the obvious metric for us to like judge you from afar. And then you started the Song Psych channel, which is your more sort of educational style channel, and then you started to bring over some of that style of content to Dev Lemons, which was the do you know this song? And then you would do a piss take of like a review or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you started this viral series where like you rode that for the next 6 months or whatever. What are the decisions there? Like, why did you start Song Psych? And then were you like, okay, this content's not necessarily performing super well for me. I'm going to try a new series. Like, what's that journey like?
So with Song Psych, I really, when COVID happened, I was still like doing music. It was like a super chill hobby type thing. But when we got sent home from college, because I was in film school at the time, I really wanted to like keep myself busy and just utilize how much free time I really had and just like do something productive with it. So I figured I'm already interested in music. Why not try to really refine that and teach myself music theory? Maybe I'll become a better songwriter and it'll help me understand like what makes a song good. And the barrier to entry for teaching yourself music theory online is just like so ridiculous because there's all these big terms you have to learn and like all of these concepts and stuff that don't really make sense if you don't have a base knowledge of it. So it was like pretty frustrating at first trying to like break through all the like gatekeeping nature of music theory. But once I finally understood like all the terminology and stuff and was getting a grasp on these concepts, like I'll never forget, I watched a video on the circle of fifths once I understood like what it was, and I was just like, whoa.
I still don't understand that.
It's just like, it's cool stuff, you know, like it's really interesting stuff. And especially if you don't take it too seriously as like, oh, this is fact and like this is what makes a song good objectively, it's just fun. Like it's just really cool, you know, theory behind what can make a song good. And I thought it would be really cool to teach about this, you know, on TikTok because it's such a music-based app. And
you just learnt it, right? This is what I talk about.
Yeah, I was teaching it to myself.
Because I actually think it's really valuable. One of the things I say is like sometimes learning from someone who's like 40 years ahead of you, they're so disconnected from what it felt like to originally learn the content.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you've just learnt it, you know exactly what position they're in. So you know how to teach it almost it depends on the situation, but sometimes better because you were just in their shoes and say, oh, here's how I grasp it. Let me teach you this way. Was that like an element of what you were thinking as well?
Oh, absolutely. And it was just like breaking down that sort of pretentious, like, oh, like this interval, it's like no one knows what, like the average person who's watching, like they don't know what that means, you know? Like, so sort of teaching music theory in like these super bite-sized videos of like, and just using like regular language, like trying to explain it as if I'm like talking to like a child or something, you know? I feel like it also helped me like better grasp the concepts too, because it's like, oh, I have to explain this, so I have to make sure I really understand it. And it was just like, it's just really, I don't know, I wish I kind of had something like that when I was teaching myself. So yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. But yeah, I did it through this production company because my boss asked me if I had any ideas for video, like educational video series because like TikTok was launching this educational fund. So I was like, well, why don't we do that? And I gave the idea for it.
So you figured out a way to get paid to make TikToks.
Yeah.
To be fair, I got paid for the same thing. Remember the educational section?
Oh, yeah, the free money you just made out of
Yeah, it was like the easiest money I ever made.
Yeah. But I mean, it did come at a cost because I didn't realize that I didn't own the IP to it until like 6 months into doing it.
Oh, maybe we did a different one, maybe.
No, you probably did the same one, but like since I did it, since my boss at this company who I was doing video editing work at the time for brought the opportunity to me, I was just like, oh yeah, sure. Like I just assumed that I'd owned it because I came up with it, and he just like was like, no, you don't own it. So now I don't do it anymore.
So how long have you not been doing it for? Because
really recent.
Yeah,
like
is that
really
like a sore subject?
recent.
Like we don't have to talk about it.
No, we can. I mean, I should probably talk about it in general. Like, you know, I feel like I haven't really explained the situation that much. Like,
So you're not running the channel at all?
Mm-mm.
Damn.
The last video was the end of last year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been posting on TikTok. Like, we did the YouTube stuff, but even then, I'm just like, at this point, I mean, it was fun. I think I'm so grateful for the opportunity, and honestly, like, I'm happy that it worked out the way it did, especially in the beginning. I think there's a lot of factors at play, and it would be wrong to say like, oh, I wish I would have done it differently. Like, I just didn't know. And
Yeah.
I think there were good things that came out of doing it through a company, but I just learned a lot through it. And I learned that the most valuable thing is your IP, regardless of like the resources that like hiring a production company can bring you. But yeah, so it's sad. It's a real shame because I feel like I deserve the IP, but
Oh well, take what you learned.
maybe
and-
what can you do? You know, like it's not worth my time anymore. I'd rather just put all my energy into something I own, you know?
In 20 years' time, you can do a stand-up special like Dave Chappelle and demand that they give you your IP back after like all this time. I think that's what he did to
Or
Netflix.
Taylor Swift, just redo it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could just,
Maybe
just
not.
redo it. Oh my God.
Because I'm mindful of time.
Yeah,
And I do want to jump into Bar and Pace because we've got some great stories.
There's one thing I wanted to share, which is it's actually from the Song Psych thing, which obviously there's a bittersweet end to it, but the last thing you posted was about the Wiggles, and because we have Australian audience as well, I wanted to post this. I wanted to share
Yeah,
this
the Wiggles
video
is Australian,
quickly.
isn't it? I'm surprised you even know who the Wiggles are.
Yeah, they were a huge American. I loved them growing up.
Really?
Oh, I was obsessed.
Oh my
what a-
god.
Fruit salad. Oh my God.
We
don't
saw the
get me
Wiggles the
started.
other day.
Yeah,
You did?
Yeah, at the,
I'd like
Wiggles
the-
were once
At like the Grammys in Australia, the ARIA Awards. Yeah.
No way.
But I love this so much.
there's like 7.
Wiggles were once a worldwide children's music sensation. Some go as far to say they were on track to become the next Maroon 5.
I think that the Wiggles might be the next Maroon 5.
However, a series of poor decisions by the members resulted in a downward spiral that no one could ever even dream of recovering from.
Yeah, so towards the end of Song Psych, I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to do Song Psych, but I'm just going to make shit up.
Yeah.
So I
Fact
like,
to cap.
So obviously,
yeah. So
You're on the right place.
Yeah, literally. Like, so there's this whole YouTube video for Song Psych. It's like our last video. And it was like this investigative, like, ooh, like the downfall of the Wiggles. Like, you know, those type of videos that are like, oh, this person like was a big success, a child star, and then this happened, and then it dropped them down to the ground. So I just made a bunch of shit up about the Wiggles. Like, I like put some true stuff in there, but then in the end, it's like, oh, the purple Wiggle like shot someone with like a
you're
bazooka.
perfect for the show then.
Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah. I'm keen to hear your story. Well, I mean, listen, before we jump off this and go to Bar and Pace, what advice would you give to anyone who maybe was like you and wanted to be a creator or pursue this? What would you say to them?
I would say that there's so many things to say. I would say that obviously don't give up. Just keep trying. Don't get discouraged by like any small amount of views at the beginning. Take the support you get, and don't be afraid to try new things. I think that's my biggest piece of advice. If something isn't working and you keep doing it and doing it and doing it and expecting a different outcome, innovate the idea. Change it, try something else. And if that doesn't work, try something else. And just don't be afraid to deviate from your original vision, because I think being able to adapt is like the most important skill in social media in general, especially because the algorithm is like always changing. And that'll make it so that you don't pigeonhole yourself into like one specific type of content, because that's just going to become like kind of exhausting. So I would say don't be afraid to try new things when something isn't working.
Love it.
Yeah, it's one of the things I think you've been great at from afar is you'll come up with a series or a concept and then run that through and see how it goes. And then you'll be like, all right, maybe that's fallen off a little bit. What's the new series? And so if you go through your page, it's just like, a series of different ideas being experimented with. So yeah, you're living that. And last thing I wanted to ask you is, how do you manage YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok on all of these platforms? And are you just posting the same content across all of them? Do you have a system, or is it just like spray and pray?
Oh, it's a bit of spray and pray. I try to it's hard. It's a lot, because managing like trying to break my solo career with music while also doing content, not only to, sustain myself, but also to, put my face in front of as many different demographics as possible, so that maybe they'll be like, oh, okay, I found her through this. Like, maybe I'll go check out her music, you know? It's hard, because I feel like consistency and being able to focus on something is such a valuable thing. So finding the balance between that, like maintaining that, but also, trying to
get attention.
Like, yeah, exactly. And like have as my eggs in as many baskets as possible, so that if one thing doesn't work, okay, well, at least this thing is working, it's hard, but I think, I just
do it.
I just do it, and I just don't stop.
Just do it. Well, it's a bitch. Dev Lemons, thanks for coming on Made to Create. We'll jump over to Byron and Pace and share some crazy stories.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, this is awesome. You guys are great.
Hell yeah. Appreciate it.